From my experience, when I first went through my awakening, I didn't even know that I was going through a spiritual awakening. All I knew is that I felt different. I felt like I was changing, but I wasn't aware that I was changing. And I feel like a lot of people can relate with that, especially if you did not purposely ask for awakening. It just happened to you, because that's what happened to me. I just remember waking up one day and I was just like, what the heck? I feel different. And this was like in the beginning of 2020. I feel like it started at the end of 2019, and then at the beginning of 2020 it started getting more noticeable to me that I was changing. And then when I became aware that I was going through a spiritual awakening, like the dark night of the soul, I started hearing about ego death and how you're supposed to kill it and how you're supposed to basically end it forever. And while I was going through my awakening, a lot of things kind of confused me. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna listen to myself. And that's what I did. And I'm just gonna tell you guys my experience of my ego death, my old self dying, because that's what the ego death really is. It's just you killing that old matrix side of you that is not the best version of you at all, really.
My guy pretty like a girl, and he got vice towards the girl. See both sides like a girl, see on both sides like a girl. Swimming like water, eating like I'm under.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. What's up? TT here, Aries the Ram, and today I want to talk about what the spiritual community means by killing your ego or ego death. I just want to speak on my experience and how I did it and how I have a healthy ego now, and how everything that I went through to kill my old self. So yeah, I just want to talk about that. I have my notes as always. Today, let me see, I wrote down like this little paragraph here. What is it? Like this paragraph here. And I didn't write a lot because while I was writing, I was thinking about just like speaking from the top of my head. So I'm still gonna say what I have to say though. Alright, so I said, what I feel like the ego death is ending the toxic side of yourself, the shadow or dark side of yourself that is toxic and stops you from your purpose or true self. And ego death leads to a healthy ego. So what I mean by this is, like, we all have our lower selves and we have our higher selves, and to have a healthy ego, you have to obviously choose to be in your higher self. You have to choose to be your better self. When you have a toxic ego, like you know how people go around and say, I'm a toxic person, you can't be with me, you know, they know that their ego is not great, it's not at its best. So that is like your lower self. You cannot kill your lower self completely. Like, it's always gonna be there. That is your, like, yin and yang. You cannot kill the dark side of yourself. It's impossible. You always need that balance, that duality, to always balance life out. Just like how we have good and evil, it's always gonna be there. You can't destroy either or. So when the spiritual community says, oh, kill your ego, I feel like what they're trying to tell us is that some people have toxic behaviors of themselves, which is their lower selves. And when they say you have to kill your ego, they mean you have to end that toxic side of yourself. You have to do your shadow work. You have to heal all of those traumas and like bad habits of yourself so that you can become a healthier ego, so you can have a healthier ego. So you're gonna always have your ego. You cannot kill your ego. That is your person. Like, that is you trying to say, oh, I'm gonna kill my avatar. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Your ego, you need to have your ego. Your ego saves you from a lot of things. You are your ego. Like, oh, when they say kill your ego, they don't mean like just kill your ego and forget about it and just be in your higher self. Like, that's impossible. You can't do that. I don't care what other people say, you cannot do that. So yeah. And then at the beginning of my spiritual awakening, I kept hearing this, and I'm like, okay. Time went by of me just listening to myself and healing, just doing the work. I realized that like, forget everything that you were before your spiritual awakening. And I'm just like, no, that's not what they mean. But some people just think that you're supposed to just forget your old self and just basically kill that self of you and just forget about it. All I'm saying is that confusion in the spiritual community is really annoying, and I kind of want to clear it up because it's really stupid. It's really stupid. So when I went through mine, I started ending a lot of things that I used to do. I used to not, like, I felt like I didn't want to talk to certain people anymore. I felt like I couldn't eat the same things that I used to eat before. A lot of information that I used to put in my head, I felt like it was just garbage. There was a lot of things that I started looking at differently, and I'm like, what the heck? This don't make me feel the same way anymore. I used to smoke weed, and I still do from time to time, but now it's just like, it's not the same. So I started quitting those things. I started like cutting back on them, and I started feeling better. See, when I was going through mine, I realized that I had to do a lot of shadow work. I had to sit down in solitude a lot and cry a lot. See a lot of sides of myself that I didn't even notice, and had to heal. Apologize to myself for a lot of things that I've done to myself and done to others. I started like doing these weird things where like I would just put my phone down and I would just sit down and just basically meditate. Sometimes I would even meditate without closing my eyes, and I would just, I don't know how to explain it, like, it's like I was just seeing a glimpse of everything that I have done. It's so weird, I can't explain it. Like, it's an experience. I just realized there was a lot of things that I just didn't like about my old self anymore, and I literally just said, you know what, I quit it. I'm not gonna do it anymore. And I started shifting into my higher self more. I became more intuitive and started healing and releasing a lot of hurt. That's when I really knew that I was going through an ego death, because I just didn't feel like my old self anymore, and I knew I wanted to be a better version of myself. So I feel like that was me going through my ego death. Sometimes I would sit and just like do these weird, I would make these weird sounds, like moaning, but like in a grieving way. And I used to look this up, and it used to like, I used to type in like, oh, what's the word, like symptoms of transformation, symptoms of going through an ego death, And they said that when you're changing into in a better version of yourself, into your true self, you will start to make moaning sounds. It's so weird, but it's like you grieving your old self. If you guys hear a lot of noise in the background, I live in the hood, so you know. It felt like, it just felt like I was losing my old self. It felt like I was just losing that part of me that I have been for so long. It really felt like I was losing a part of myself, which I was. And that's when it really clicked to me that I was not my old self anymore. I was really going through I was literally like, my old self was literally gone. And that was like symptoms of me just realizing that I used to sit down and say, dang, I kind of miss my old self. And it's like I wasn't even in my higher self or like my new self. I was like in the middle. Like, I lost my old self, but I'm not my new self yet. I'm just like in the middle. If you get it, you get it. Like I said, my videos are literally for intuitive people. You cannot understand me if you just have a 3D thinking, or if you don't open up your mind to other information. You're just one-minded. You're not gonna understand what I'm saying. My channel is not for everybody. I'm not for everybody. So when I was going through all of that, I was like, dang, like, and it honestly felt so weird. Like, it felt like, I felt empty, to be honest. I felt empty. Like, just imagine you losing your old self and then trying to find your new self. Try to like visualize that in your head, and then you can understand what I mean. So yeah, that was my experience of an ego death. Some people have mental issues, or like some people are delusional, right? That's why some people are manipulative. That's why some people are just messed up in their heads, because their ego is toxic. That is how you know you have a toxic mind. Basically, a toxic ego is just somebody that just didn't heal themselves, period. Now you can have a healthy ego, somebody that is fully aware of themselves, fully aware of their actions, can apologize when they know that they're wrong. Some people, just basically healed people. So you have ego, and then you have toxic ego, and then you have a healthy ego. I hope that makes sense. That was my experience of going through my ego death. There was a lot of other things that I went through too, so I just wanted to get that out. I feel like people don't understand the real true meaning of what an ego death is, and I just wanted to point out my experience and what it really truly is to me. This is just my little video. I can do more videos like this if you guys want me to. And yeah, this transformation is not easy at all. It's very painful. Spiritually is really hard. You're literally losing a part of yourself that you have been for years. So imagine losing all of that and then having to change into your true self. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. It was difficult for me. I cried a lot, and there was many times when I felt like I wasn't even doing the right thing, and I had to keep reassuring myself. There was many times when I felt like, dang, like, when is all of this gonna end? There was times when I had to heal so much that I was just tired of healing, tired of learning, tired of unlearning a lot of things, because that's what the ego death also is. You have to unlearn what society told you. It's just a lot. The point of like changing yourself into a better self is so you can get on your life purpose and your soul's mission, which is basically the same thing. That is what I feel like the whole main reason of a ego death is, and basically becoming your better version of yourself each day and every day. Because if it wasn't for that, ego death wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't have any point to it. So basically, that's what I think it is. That's what I intuitively felt when I was going through mine, especially the dark night of the soul. When I was having all these attacks spiritually, I was just like, bro, what is this? And it was just really different for me. But it's not 100% terrible. There will be sides of you that you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is why I'm like this. Okay, I see why I have to end this, because I will become a better person if I do this. There was times when I found dark sides of myself and I was like, dang, okay, I'll end this so I could do this, so I could be better at this. When you finally fight those demons in your subconscious mind, you feel so free, you feel lighter. And I feel like that's why an ego death is also hard, because you're literally fighting different versions of yourself that is really dark. And sometimes it get really tough because you're literally fighting your darker side and you're just like, whoa, like it's really crazy. Anybody that's going through ego death understands what I'm saying right now. It's just a very interesting road to go on. But like I said, when you finally just end those dark sides, when you heal those dark sides of yourself and you come out on the other side, it's so amazing. You feel so proud of yourself and you realize how strong you can get. You realize how much more powerful, how much power you have over your darker side. Like, it is so powerful, so interesting. It's just really empowering to know that you can fight demons in your mind and conquer it and overcome them. I feel like an ego death is like, it's one of the most terrible things you can go through in your spiritual awakening, but it can also be one of the most beautiful things you can go through in your spiritual awakening. It's literally both. It's yin and yang. You're fighting your dark side because you want to live in your lighter side. It's really, really beautiful. Especially if you're a being of light. It's really, really beautiful. You get to see so much different sides of yourself, and then to overcome them just makes you feel so much more stronger and just makes you feel resilient, and it makes you conquer this life so much better. And you don't let a lot of shit get to you anymore. And that's why shadow work is so important. I feel like I've said enough. This video is long enough. Yeah, so that's what I have right now, guys. If you guys like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you want to see more videos like this. And hit that post notification bell so you won't miss any more videos like this. And I will see you guys in my next video. By the way, do you guys like my edges? I did like that little swooping. Yeah. And I did the other side like this.